as soon as he does sit in the office, I'm sure everybody would want to just kind of look at him and say, you're fired.
Hi, I'm Joey. I'm a Christian immigrant living in the United States. Recently on my Facebook feed, I've been seeing a lot of hate and misconception directed towards Muslims. I've also been seeing a lot of mainstream media saying that Muslims are outraged by the election, but I haven't seen any actual coverage of American Muslims on TV. I'm pretty interested to know what they actually think, so I'm gonna go and ask them. Here's what I'm doing. I'm going to visit a mosque and interview 3 people about President-elect Trump, terrorism, and some other stuff. But first, I'm headed to a local mosque to learn what Islam is actually about, because I'll be honest, I have no idea. Luckily, an Islamic judge agreed to talk to me. This is Mufti Ibrahim. Everyone recommended I come talk to him, so now I'm here.
So my name is Muhammad Ibrahim Qureshi. I'm the religious director for the Islamic Center Northridge. I have a degree in Islamic theology as well as in Islamic jurisprudence.
Islam means surrender. A Muslim is someone who has surrendered himself to God. Do you have a verse or a teaching you would like to share?
The opening verse of chapter 4 is reminding us that we came from one and the same source. It shows that as human beings, you cannot embark or start a spiritual journey unless you bring yourself to that level, until you see every human being as yourself. Care and that concern for other people, I think that should, for any spiritual journey, that should be.
One of the pillars of Islam is giving alms to the poor, reaffirming that the Muslim faith is not to be followed for personal salvation, but as a community of submission and service working for a more just world. Just to tell you a little about myself, I was born in Lebanon. I immigrated to California in the United States when I was 9. I was raised a Christian and still am. Right now, I'm headed to the King Fahd Mosque in the Los Angeles County. The King Fahd Mosque is a bit known for having been funded to be built by a Saudi Arabian prince. Look at that! I can see where the money went. It looks awesome! I'm going to be interviewing people here about Trump, ISIS, and what it means to be a Muslim American.
My name is Asman Ali. I work with the Kaiser Foundation. I've been in here over 30 years. I born Muslim in Sudan. Whole my family was generation after generation after generation. Those doing that stuff. First, I will say they are not Muslim. I can say that. Indeed, they doing that for some purpose. I don't know why they do it. They use the name of the Quran or the name of the masjid or the name of the country. They do this. The Islam doesn't say that. Always love, always giving, always look behind the person who doesn't do anything good. But those who are terrorists, they say, oh, we are Muslim, we gotta shoot them. With no reason shoot me. What for? Just because you see him walk on the street and they shoot the people. It's not Islam at all. Period.
So my name is Kamal. I'm living in Koreatown right now. Originally, I came from Indonesia. We have almost 280 million population, and then 85% is a Muslim. Allah created so many different nations, ethnicity, religion. The reason why to know each other. God wanted they can make it just one. The reason why Allah make it, what Allah the God make it so many different things. The purpose is to know each other. That's why God created so many things, to know each other. When know each other, that means we have a communication. When the communication, people can be more understand. No lack communication. Because so many things happen this one because they lack communication.
My name is Ahsan Sayyid. I am the Imam and the religious director of this mosque. I studied in Saudi Arabia. Actually, I was born here in Southern California. I was born and brought up and raised here. After I finished high school, I went over to Saudi Arabia, to Mecca in particular, and I studied Islam there. I studied there for about 7 years. I came back here. I was appointed earlier this year as the full-time Imam and religious director of this mosque. This community in particular, the community of this mosque, it's very diverse, but at the same time, it's very unified. You'll see them from all different types of races, all different types of backgrounds, people of the white race, of the black race, and every color in between. These people who have, like ISIS and other terrorist groups have waged war on America and other countries in the West, they really have nothing to do with Islam. What they do is they cut and paste certain verses of the Quran, taking them out of context, and they try to use that to justify their actions. If you look at the way that the Prophet practiced Islam, and you look at his companions, how they practice Islam, it's 180 degrees turned from the way that these terrorist groups are practicing it. So it really has nothing to do with Islam. If the people who are misinformed about this, they hear all this propaganda and they hear this misinformation, from the media or wherever, and they just get this idea about Islam, which is totally wrong. If they come to a mosque, like what you guys are doing, coming to a mosque and talk to an imam or talk to someone who is in charge of the affairs of a mosque, they go back, with a whole new outlook on what Islam really is, because it's actually the opposite of what they have been informed by from the actions of these people. That's what I always try to tell people, who have this type of misinformation, is go and talk to a Muslim. Don't just listen and just believe everything that you hear or everything that you read. Actually go and meet a Muslim, talk to a Muslim, read the Quran yourself, and then you will see what Islam really is, and you will realize that whatever you're hearing is absolutely wrong.
What do you think is the solution to end these misconceptions?
The responsibility from us, from the Muslims, is to actually educate the people that we totally condemn, the actions of what these people are doing in the name of Islam, and we are free from those actions, and our religion is actually free from those people's actions. We need to, make sure that we clarify this to the people and that we widely publicize our condemnation of these acts. And we're trying to do that, and I think we're doing a pretty good job, but there's always room for improvement. From the non-Muslim side, their job is to actually be objective. Don't just listen to everything that they hear from one source and believe it as if it can't be wrong. Reach out to Muslims, talk to them. You will realize that there is a complete difference from what Islam really is to what these fringe terrorist groups are doing in the name of Islam.
To assume that this is religious, that people are just doing it because they're religious or something, so it means that you lack a basic understanding of the world around you, how it works, of politics. Yes, people will use religion to manipulate. That's true. In order to gain their means, in order to achieve their goals and their objectives. If you just tell somebody, hey, I have this goal, I want you to fight for me, sacrifice your life, I'm going to do it. Put a religious spin on it. Manipulation, absolutely. But to assume that the religion itself is the reason or the cause of this, I think it has no basis. There was this one article online by a CIA agent who was used to interrogate terrorists. And he noticed that one common thing that all of them had was that none of them understood Islam. No one really knew the religion. In fact, one of them, the last book that he bought, was Islam for Dummies.
Jihad means to struggle and to strive. It permits Muslims to use violence in self-defense or in cases of oppression. However, the Quran strictly forbids holy war on many occasions, and forced conversions also go against Quranic doctrine. All of questions are about politics, so again, you could refuse anything you want.
Let me say here.
The thing is, we have to people can panic this time. We have a system. Whoever take the president, they cannot go out of the line. Trump, he's like a property business. He's a businessman. The thing is how to get the money, how to get the vote. That's why he's selling. The selling is to the dreamer of American dreamer. The real American dreamer, like a white people right now, Trump, he know how to sell that one. So after he get the vote, they just like lipstick on campaign. Whatever he said, maybe like less than 0% he gonna be doing that. You cannot allow some people to come in here. And in a matter of fact, his money came from the outside, and he's like the business outside. So he just like people like just to operate. He's gonna be okay. Everything back to the money. Even Trump, he's a big money. He's a big hunter money. So we know he's gonna lose the money. And he just like sometimes maybe I'm imagine him when he spoke blah 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 on the campaign. When the back to the stage, he just laughing himself. I already been lying for those people. But for sure, he time he's gonna be okay.
Has Trump victory shocked the Muslim community?
Yeah, I mean, by 10:30, I was like, you know what? I'm pretty sure I know what's gonna happen, and it's really worth for me to stay awake that late because I have to wake up like 4:45 in the morning. So it's really worth for me to stay awake at night and find out something that I don't really want to hear. Like, you don't want to forget. 10:30, I just want to sleep. In the morning, I'll see phones got a billion messages. I think it's not just the Muslims. I think everybody. I think even Donald Trump is amazed, and he's shocked. He's like, how did this happen? Angry, not so much. I mean, things happen. As Muslims, we believe in fate and decree. Whatever God has decreed, that's what's going to happen. He's a very unpredictable person. The fact he even ran for president is a very bizarre thing. why is Donald Trump running for president of the United States? I mean, there's always a possibility, hey, he might calm down, reality may sink in, and he may realize that, it was good for our campaign run, but practically, that's probably not the way to go. Growing up in this country, you see that there's a lot of good. There's more good than there is bad. And people are more willing to lend a helping hand than they are to just walk away and ignore. As a believer, hope is very important. And having faith in humanity is also very important. At the end of the day, we're all creatures of God. And, we're created in this image. And that has to mean something.
I think, look, when you run into the office campaign, you can say anything to reach your chair, the White House. I will say I don't think you're gonna block the way. As long as they're legally here or coming from there, more than welcome to the United States. Today he's a president for all of us. When he get the office, we'll find out how he's gonna do, what he's gonna do. I'm hoping for good though. I really do. And then I think he will. I'm hoping, don't you?
I was really surprised by the overwhelming, awesome attitudes of everyone I met. This is one of the handful of groups that is facing so much hatred right now after the presidential election. A group that has been dealing with misguided stigma for decades now in America. I find it so ironic that within this group, I've talked to some of the most hopeful Americans I've met for a long time.
Because the thing is, like, my grandpa is a farmer. I'm living in the farmer all the time. So many, farmers, so many beautiful garden thing, and they asking me what the garden so make beautiful. He repeat me like 3 times. I still don't get it. And then I found it. Why the garden so beautiful? Because so many different color.